Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV. You're here again this week with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast. So I hope you've had an absolutely awesome week since we did the show last week. We had the new moon in Leo, which certainly did live up to every bit of its expectations, with people wanting to take centre stage, people throwing a little bit of drama into the mix, but most importantly, hopefully, you will all set your intent for what you'd like to bring in the next month, that you let go of some old stuff and set some new intentions or some new goals that you wanted to achieve, or you hope to achieve in this next month, but most importantly, that you've got pride back in your step again now, that you can sort of reach out and achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve in your lifetime now. So moving the show right along, each week we feature a Simply Tarot card of the week, which I designed about 13 years ago with an Australian publisher here, where we recreated the Rider-Waite deck, which was the most popular deck in the world at that time. I still believe it is today. So this week's card is very, very interesting, because it's going to be one of those ones that you're going to look at it and you think, oh no, I don't like that card. Oh, I don't know that I want that energy in my life. But as we go through the show a little bit more, I'll explain to you how it actually ties in with what's happening when we go stargazing in the universe. So it really does all tie in. So this week's card is not necessarily one of my favourites. It's one of the most confronting out of the 78 tarot cards. It's called the Three of Swords. In very basic terms, we've got a heart here with three swords stabbing through it. So it is the card of deception, frustration and jealousy. Now, look, I don't think any of us on the planet can ever get away from something negative or something not so nice happening in our lives, or maybe the opportunity to clear it. And that's how I always like to put a positive spin on everything that I work with, even when something comes up that we see as being confrontational or something that we don't particularly like. I try and find a way that we can turn this into positive. How can we move this along? What are we being shown this for? Because there's obviously a reason for it. It's giving us an opportunity to clear something out of our lives and move forward with something. So if there's been somebody that's been deceiving you, someone that's been causing you frustration, or somebody that's just been plain jealous of what you've been able to achieve, I want you to try and rise above this week. That's the message here. So each week we also have a little glimpse at what's happening around the universe when we go stargazing around this amazing planet of ours. And this week I'm really excited to talk about the sun has moved into Leo. Now this is one of my favourite times of the year, and no, I'm not a Leo, but I always find when the energy starts to move into Leo, here in Australia we're in the middle of winter, it starts to give me that little bit of hope that the warmer weather's on its way and we could be soon back into full swing of summertime, which is my favourite time of the year. So I always get a little bit excited about that. Now, this year's going to be no exception with the sun moving into Leo. We've just had the new moon in Leo. We'll have a second new moon in Leo in this 30-day period, which will be a lunar eclipse. And we're also going to have a full moon eclipse. So we've got the solar and lunar eclipses happening. We've got everything happening this month in the energy of Leo. But more importantly, let's talk about what's happening today in Leo. Today we've got Mars, the planet of action, is conjunct, or as I like to describe it, holding hands with the sun. So the sun is the heart of us. It's where our drive comes from. It's where our energy comes from. So this will affect each and every one of us, disregarding what your star sign is. You may be a Scorpio, you might be a Pisces, you could be an Aries, you could be a Virgo. It's going to affect all of us, not just Leo. So the sun, the energy of all of us, which is trying to sort of radiate out and be positive and trying to be nice and maybe creating a tiny bit of drama maybe, is now holding hands with the planet of action, or sometimes affectionately known as the planet of war. Now, I don't like to think of war and Mars going hand in hand. I like to think of Mars as being the opportunity for us to overthrow anything that has been in our path, to move the boulders out of the road, to remove the obstacles that have been in our lives. So if we've got the sun and Mars conjunct or holding hands in Leo, I feel it's time now that we can put our heart and our soul into what it is that we want to achieve, and we we are holding hands with Mars, the planet of action that tells us that we have the drive, we have the determination, we have the ability to get out there and make it happen. And with the energy being in Leo, it's telling us it's our time to perform. The stage awaits us. Our opportunities are there. People are looking. People are searching for us. So why don't we get out there and strut our stuff in a very, very positive way? And that's where I feel it ties back to the card of the week, where we have that opportunity to overthrow any deception, any frustration, or any jealousy that may have been blocking or preventing us from getting on our path. So I think it's a very exciting time to be sort of, having a little look at what's dancing around this solar system of ours and how can we make this work for us during this next 7-day period. I always believe if we take small baby steps, that enables us to jump further into our bigger steps, to run the marathon. But we have to start with little baby steps to begin with to be able to take those giant strides. So if each week we try and attempt to take some small baby steps during the course of the year, we'll find when we look back at the end of the year, we've been able to run that marathon and probably run a bigger marathon than we ever gave ourselves credit for. So it's really, really exciting today. We're moving on with our third part in our series of Venus through the chart. And if you've been following along in the last couple of weeks, Venus is the planet of love and affection. This is where we look for love and our love relationships in our life, but it's also how we love as people. It also shows us the things that give us pleasure, or the things that we love to do, the things that we enjoy. Some people say, I really, really love old movies. I love watching them on cable TV late at night with some popcorn. If that's what makes your heart sing, that's great. Other people might say, I love going to the theatre, I love music, or I love just being with people. So Venus denotes where we get the things from in our lives, or how we look at the things that we love. So this week we're moving on to our third part in our series, which is Venus through the next 3 signs, which is Venus through Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So Venus in Libra, I just want to go, how lovely. Because Venus actually rules Libra. So Venus feels very comfortable, very much at home being in the sign of Libra. This is where we get the nicer things in life. Anybody that has Venus in Libra has immaculate taste. They usually have a beautifully decorated home. They usually have an eye for something that is very pretty, very attractive, something that's soft, that's gentle, something that's going to make us feel secure, something that's going to make us feel like we're rich, we've got something that's luxurious in our lives. The little bit of a negative side, I suppose, of Venus in Libra is sometimes people with Venus in Libra can only see the good in someone. They don't always see the warts and all bits, the bits that maybe we have to work on. They sort of tend to gloss over that. And it's like they wave their magic wand and fairy floss everything pink, so it's pink, sweet and happy. And we don't look at those bits. We just pretend they're not there. So that's something that people with Venus in Libra have to work on. We have to look at, sometimes people have some not so nice parts to their character, which is part of the journey that we come to experience with them. So we move up a notch or two now when we go to Venus in Scorpio. Anytime we bring Scorpio into the equation, I immediately think, hang on a minute, batten down the hatches, everything's got very cold. Everything's got very secretive. And that can be the case with Venus here. Venus can be very secretive sort of love. It doesn't always denote that somebody that's got Venus in Scorpio means that they run around having secret affairs. I don't mean that. I mean that they are quite secretive about who they might be in love with. They don't run around and brag to everybody who the latest love interest is in their life. They like to keep their private life very much private. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Venus in Scorpio can bring about a very intense, very serious, very deep love. Somebody that never really stops loving somebody no matter what. And sometimes people that have Venus in Scorpio find it very difficult to move on from relationships that are not satisfactory to them because they believe if they put enough energy in, they will make it right. And look, I take my hat off and I admire their persistence, but sometimes we have to just say, hey, this one's not right for us and move on. So if you're fortunate enough to have Venus in Scorpio, I say to you that you really experience love at a very, very deep soul level, and congratulations. So now we're going to look at our final sign this week, which is Venus in Sagittarius. Well, what can I say? Anytime we put something in Sag, it's sort of like, give me a bit of elbow room. Where's the exit? I need some freedom. I need to be sort of off on an adventure of a lifetime. So Venus in Sagittarius, in some ways, is really no different to that. Somebody that has Venus in Sagittarius is said to be always looking and loving to travel, explore new places. Quite often they fall in love with a foreigner or someone from a different part of the world to what they call home, or the way that they were brought up, because they want to experience different things. They don't just want what is considered the norm for them. They want to encompass everything. They want to learn everything about everybody. They love everybody. They love all the cultures. They love all the different foods. They love all the different customs and traditions, and they just want to absorb it all. So if you're fortunate enough to fall in love with somebody that has Venus in Sagittarius, be prepared that they will have a love of travel, and they probably will be constantly researching and looking at other cultures and other religions and other ways of doing things, and never seem quite satisfied with what's in front of them. But that's part of their magic. So if you've got Venus in Sagittarius, you'll understand why you've always got a bag ready to go travelling. So we're going to sort of now move the show along, and we're going to actually talk about a little bit about the solar and lunar eclipses that are coming up in the next month. The solar and lunar eclipses aren't something that I necessarily would really say that has been my passion. I do understand a little bit about them once we have them coming up in the chart for each and every one of us. It just means the energy is much more intensified. So as we get close to a solar or lunar eclipse, which is going to be around the full moon, the new moon, we need to be aware of the energy will be intensified, it will be heightened. You may feel a little bit restless, you may feel a bit cranky, you may feel like, I feel like I need to make change, but I don't know where to start. My best suggestion is for 36 hours, do nothing. You know, do what's absolutely necessary. Don't make any decisions and let the energy pass, and then regroup. Then relook at what you need to be doing moving forward. Don't make a decision if you can help it under those really intense sort of energies. Now we're going to go on and take our first caller, which is Tabitha in the new, this is a good word. So it's Brussels in Texas, USA, and I know I've pronounced that wrongly, Tabitha, and I do apologise. How can I help you tonight, Tabitha?
Well, I have a question. I've been wanting to know because I'm 18 weeks pregnant, and
right.
I've been wanting to know if the father of the child, of my unborn child, and I will get back together.
Okay. Well, first off, congratulations on you becoming a mum. That's a really nice, new, exciting adventure in your life. It's interesting because when I try and tune into the baby's father, my first initial reaction is that he doesn't feel ready for this. He didn't ask for this. This is what he's telling me. I wasn't ready to be a dad. I wasn't ready to sort of step into this sort of role. Now, I feel that that's not necessarily where we're going to end up, that the answer is no. I feel we need to give him, and I appreciate we don't have a lot of time, but I think we need to give him a tiny little bit more time to come to terms with the mammoth understanding of what this means, that, I'm going to be a dad. I do have to be responsible. I have a child coming along. What do I do? How do I feel? And how do I feel about you, Tabitha? And I think he sort of just seems very, very overwhelmed with everything. I'm not saying that he didn't feel comfortable in the relationship, but I don't think he was anywhere near ready to make a commitment of that magnitude of, okay, let's start a family together. Let's start our journey together. I'm not sure that you're going to get the answer that you're looking for before the birth of the baby. I feel he's going to be sort of running hot and cold right up to the birth. I think then we're going to have a short period of time after the birth where he's overwhelmed and excited and everything else about it and very mesmerised by the fact that he's a dad. Then I think we're going to have a little period where he sort of disappears again. He sort of pulls his energy away for a couple of weeks and you think, oh, well, there, haven't got time to be bothered with this. You've obviously made your decision and you haven't even been man enough to come forward and tell me. That's not exactly true. I think he's just overwhelmed with the whole process. I think he needs to go away, sit down, do some thinking, do some soul searching, and look at what it is he wants. Now, when he comes back again then I actually feel we're going to sit down and have some really heart-to-heart conversations, and I think the two of you then will make a decision together that, yes, we are going to try and create a family unit together. Yes, we do really care for each other. Yes, we do really love each other. And it's not just because we've become parents. You know, you're looking back at it as about the two of you, about when you met and what brought you two together, and then bringing in the equation that we're now parents and we've got a beautiful little baby here that we are both responsible for. But he wants to make sure that he's not coming back towards you and trying to create this just purely out of responsibility, out of the fact that he's a father. He wants to come back and make sure that him going back into the relationship is because he loves you, Tabitha, and then the baby is just an extension of that, or, you know, a beautiful part of that. But there has to be that you two have to really want this to work together as two adults. So I do believe that you've got a very good shot at making this work, but I'm going to say to you, it is going to take work. It's not going to be an easy journey, and you will change your mind on how you see things after the baby's born. It's sort of like, even though it's the most amazing thing that's ever happened to you, there will be things that will come into your head and it's sort of like, well, that's really trivial, I'll dismiss that. You know, you're really going to find a newfound strength that you've never had before. And I feel that your partner is going to find this a little bit difficult to deal with to begin with, because he thinks, well, you've changed. It's like you didn't just have a baby. It's almost like your whole personality has changed. Did you get a personality transplant while you were in there? But no, you didn't. What you've done is you're now looking at a much bigger picture, not just looking at from you, the individual as Tabitha. You're looking at you, the baby, and what this means and how this has changed your life, and how does he fit into the equation if he chooses to be there. So, it's going to be a little bit topsy-turvy, but I do really feel that there is a real definite chance here of creating a very positive, strong family unit, but more importantly, a commitment between you two as individuals, and then you become the commitment of the parents. So it's sort of like we get us right, and then we step into that next role. But I know that it's going to be quite daunting, and, you'll have lots of emotions that will come and go over the period of time until you give birth, Tabitha, but it's the most wonderful experience on the planet to become a mum.
Mm.
So I hope that's helped you, sweet.
I'm sorry?
I said,
Hello?
I hope that's helped you.
I'm sorry. You're breaking up. Sorry.
Well, I hope that's helped you, Tabitha. We're going to move on now to Michelle in Illinois. Are you there, Michelle? Are you there, Michelle?
Oh, hello. Yes, I couldn't tell if you. I'm sorry. Hello. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Michelle. How can I help you this evening, sweetie?
Well, I was wondering, of course, everyone wants to know about finances, so I thought I'd ask about finances and if I'm safe at my job.
Okay. Yeah, well, actually, Michelle, finances come in at number 2. The number 1 question I usually get asked is about matters of the heart or love. So it's always actually a refreshing change when someone asks me about their finances and their job. I feel that there's been some changes on the job front over the last couple of months, Michelle, and this is what's made you not so much hit the panic button, but sort of question where your position is within the company. Is there going to be changes? Do I still have a job? Is there room for potential growth? Is there real opportunity here for promotion, or am I wasting my time? So these are all very valid points that, have been coming in and out of your mind over the last 3 months. To sort of answer those quite quickly, number 1, I do feel that your role at the company is actually extremely secure. I don't think you've got anything to worry about there. What I am seeing around November, probably late November, early December, is that there will be an opportunity, like you'll be called into a meeting, there will be an opportunity for you to maybe change direction within the company. Now, I want to be very clear. If you do not feel comfortable with this, or this is not the direction that you want to go, You have the right to say thank you, but no thank you, and it will not, under any circumstances, mean that you don't have a job or interfere with your standing with the company. It's just that they sort of feel that you have a lot more skills that they could put to good use. So actually what they've been doing over the course of this year has been sort of taking notes and sort of observing all of their employees, not just you, about who's doing what and who seems to be showing initiative and who do we think we can trust and who might be better in a different sort of role as they shake everything up heading towards the end of the year. So I actually feel quite excited about the opportunity that they're going to discuss with you. I don't feel it will actually come about until about February, March next year, but they're discussing it towards the end of this year. Number one, they need to know your answer on it. Number two, there will also be some further training that they will have to organise for you to skill you up to go into this new role. So that's going to take a little bit of time as well. They'll pay for all that. There's nothing, no expense coming out of your pocket. I actually think it's very exciting because I think it's going to take you in a direction that you hadn't considered. And it's sort of like you get given the news on Thursday and they don't want your answer till the following Monday. So you've got a bit of time to go home and chew it over and think about it and decide whether this is for you. I actually feel, as I said, quite excited about it. I think it's going to give you renewed enthusiasm with your job, and it's always nice to get what's considered a promotion with a pay increase. None of us don't like not having extra money in our pocket. But it's sort of like they've mapped out the next 3 promotions past this one within the package. They're sort of saying to you, well, if all goes according to plan and within 12 months we expect you to be here, in 18 months here, and 2.5 years here. So you're seeing sort of, everything being mapped out for you. They haven't actually talked about what the new salaries will be as you head up the corporate ladder, but from the package that you're offered at this initial one, well, it's a nice little upgrade. Thank you very much. I'm very happy with that. So as long as it continues along that sort of vein, you can see yourself ending up with a very good paying job, with something that really interests you and something that's going to get you excited to get out of bed. So I feel the remainder of 2017 is about, Michelle, trying to spend as little as possible, making sure that you're trying to remove any sort of debt as much as you can from your life, just so that you feel that you're back in the driver's seat and you're back in control of where things need to be going for the future. Because I feel in 2018, probably not in the first part of the year, but I'm sort of looking more towards the middle of the year, is when I think there's going to be a very big decision about property. Now, they were saying to me the words of another property. So I'm going to take from that you've already got property, because they were sort of referring to this as if it was like a second or third property, sort of it wasn't the main primary residence. And there'll be that opportunity to invest money in that, so that we're starting to build up a little bit of a portfolio here of getting you to be much more financially secure than what you were. If I can go back 2 to 3 years ago, there was a real slump in your finances. It was where everything that you seemed to touch went backwards, and it's like you've had to claw your way out of that, and it was through no fault of your own. It was just a series of things that happened that changed the course and direction of your finances there, and you've now had to try and reorganise things to slowly climb your way back out of that. Well, they're showing me with what they're working towards with you is that will never ever happen again. You learnt from that, and now we're going to be starting to create wealth, not debt, which is wonderful.
Well, thank you so much.
That's good, but you're right on the right track, Michelle. You've really been working hard towards getting to where you want to go, but this new opportunity with work is going to be extremely exciting.
Well, I really appreciate that, and you're wonderful.
Okay, you have a great night, Michelle. Lovely to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing your progress. So, as ever, the show always comes to a close episode quickly. We've got a couple of minutes left on the show. So, for those of you that would like to know a little bit more about me, I do have a Facebook page where I will put up the card of the week. I'll put up a little bit of information about Venus that we've been talking about today. And as always, it's important that I think that we try and be kind to each other. You know, try and use this time with all this very heightened energy and us out there strutting our stuff to be a little bit considerate of the person sitting next to us or the person that's important in our lives, making sure that we don't overshadow them, that they do have dreams too, and they also deserve to have the centre stage as well. So on next week's show, we'll be wrapping up our final part in our 4-part series on Venus. We'll be looking at the last 3 signs, which will be Venus in Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces. We will also have our card of the week. And we'll also be having a little stargazing look at what's happening in our universe and see what the planets are dancing around and what message that they're going to be sharing with us. And we'll also talk a little bit more about the solar eclipse that will be coming up with the full moon. While it's in Leo, we'll have a little bit of a look at that as well. So it's been a very, very interesting show, and I really do want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you that take the time to message me during the week and say, I really enjoy the show, this is what I'd like to see on the show. If you have anything that you want to learn about or you want me to talk about on the show, please feel free to private message me, and I'll do my very utmost to incorporate it into the show, because this show is about trying to help you understand a little bit more about the amazing world of psychic energy, whether it's about tarot or whether it's about astrology, or you may have a question about something else that you might like me to feature on the show. I'm here to help you, and it's always important to look at the things that maybe that we don't understand. It's been my absolute pleasure to work with you again this week, and I look forward to working with you again all next week. So wherever you are in this amazing globe of ours, be happy, put a smile on your face, and don't forget to strut your stuff. The world stage is there for you to take. Bye for now.